Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Keep Breathing, a limited series from Netflix from creators Brendan Gall and Martin Garrow, and focuses on a young woman who is a lawyer, played by Melissa Barrera, who winds up being on a small plane, really trying to convince her way to get onto it, and it crashes in the wilderness, and she has to deal with being out there by herself. Except when she keeps having one of the other passengers on the plane coming back from the dead and talking to her, or you're cutting to a whole bunch of other clips of her in her previous life before this wilderness and other things going on as well. And you're just like, would it kill this show to just focus on what's working, which is the survival aspects of it? I think the most important key piece here is Barrera, who gives a strong and steady performance in this series where she has to do a lot of the heavy lifting with her dramatic chops and selling the emotions, selling the struggle, selling her situation. And that works. She does a fantastic job. She anchors this series and makes it pretty watchable. The elements of her being out in the wilderness also work. Dealing with bears, rapids, all those different kinds of things, that there's plenty of emotion and tension that are building up. And Maggie Kiley and Rebecca Rodriguez, who are the two directors who focus on this series, they do a good job of building that tension, building that suspense. But all that gets cut away when we get into this stereotypical, like, oh, we have to have somebody talking to her when she's out in the woods. You know, there's so many films and series that do this kind of thing better. And just look at Castaway. He doesn't need anybody. He comes up with an imaginary friend, but doesn't literally see ghosts. It's one of those kinds of things where it's just like, you could have just settled this on the shoulders of our young actress and really had her carry that load. But they have to split it up because she has to see like this premonition of one of the people who died on this plane with her. We have to keep cutting back to her backstory and all this extra stuff that just adds melodrama to the situation and drags down the quality of the series and distracts you from what's really working, which is the high tension stuff out in the wilderness, the survival aspects. They could have trimmed this down. This could have been half the length and could have just been a little film. It's at that point that they waste so much time on all this extra frills that you lose focus of what's really going on. And if those frills were strong and engaging and interesting, that'd be one thing, but they're in your face, they're choppy, and they just break up all sense of momentum watching this series. And in the end, I feel like this really needs... It's well shot, it's well acted, it's just too much stuffed in and distracts you from what's really working, and those parts that are working are worth the time, but then you have to sit through everything else too. But those are my thoughts on Keep Breathing. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some TV. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.